Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Mr. Reality, joined by psychic medium Liz Cross. And a long time ago, some guys escaped from Alcatraz, and they said, "Oh, those guys never really escaped. They died. They never made it out. They could have made it out. It was a high escape prison." But I believe through remote viewing that Frank Morris, John and Clarence Anglin did escape and successfully lived out the rest of their lives without being caught. So I'd like to ask you, psychic medium Liz Cross, if we could bring forth Frank Morris and find out what really happened.
Oh, wow. So they were never caught?
Never caught. Well, they allegedly died in the water, but I believe otherwise.
Really? Did they recover them? No, I don't feel they ever recovered them.
No, they never recovered them, but they allegedly died. But I believe they lived out the rest of their lives, and were never caught. So if we could bring forth, I mean, they're probably dead now because born in 1926, that would make him 98 years old. But Frank Morris, I wonder if we could bring forth the top guy there and find out just from him how he's doing.
Yeah, let's have a look. No, they're definitely past. This Frank Morris is gone. Yeah, he's great.
And so, what did he do after? Did he escape? I think he did, but did he escape the Alcatraz? And did he successfully steal a car and live the rest of his life without being caught?
Were you ever caught? No, no, he was never caught. And did you steal a car? They stole multiple cars.
And
Um,
what did he do for the rest of his life? And how long did he live?
what did he do for the rest of your life? They lived in a very remote area. Did you all stay together? No, they didn't all stay together. Did you all stay together initially? I feel like they did, but eventually they went their separate ways.
Yeah, that's good.
But
You're a
it
bit
took a few
conspicuous as
years.
a trio.
Sorry.
You're a bit conspicuous as that trio. So, how
Mm,
long did he live? And what state did he live in?
what state did you live in? Did you stay out west? No, no. They went to Canada.
Oh, what part of Canada did Frank live in?
What part of Canada did you live in? It's very remote, extremely remote, and it's almost like he's showing me near to Alaska. It was up there, and they were very self-sufficient. And did you have accommodation? He's very visual. He's showing me like they had some sort of log house or wood cabin, and there
What did he
was,
do for income?
sorry,
What
what
did he
did
do
you
for
do for
income?
income? He lived off the land. And did you stay living off the land for the rest of your life? No. He didn't stay living off the land for the rest of his life. He eventually, and then what? You came back. He came back into the States eventually, snuck back over the border. And where did you go? He stayed around the Midwest area.
Did he get married?
Did you get married? Eventually, but he had to change his entire identity.
Sure. Yeah. You don't want to go around Frank Morris, your escape from Alcatraz. Did he ever have any close brushes with the law during his days in a Midwest marriage?
Did you have any close brushes with the law? Several, several, but he had taken on another identity. He's not very clear here. He likes to talk in visuals. Um, he took on another identity of
Oh,
some dead man. And I'm saying, did you kill this man? No, no, but they knew that he had died, and he basically pretended he had amnesia and that he was this other person. It's all very sketchy. He's not used to doing this, by the way, connecting from the other side. You know, some
Oh,
spirits, they're really good at giving information, and then other spirits, it's kind of like hit and miss. It comes through in fits and starts, because they you have to know how to do this, right? You have to know how to communicate with the earth plane, and he's definitely struggling. So what else happened? I feel like he had another child.
well, did he ever? I mean, he must have been pretty proud of himself. He escaped from Alcatraz, managed to live out the rest of his life. What was that always in his soul contract to escape from one of the most secure prisons? And what does that do for your soul journey to have a second chance and never be caught?
What does that do for your soul journey to have a second chance and never be caught? It feels good. But he also knew that he couldn't screw it up. It was life-changing for him. It was no more breaking the law, no more reverting back to his old ways, no more stealing, no more harming people, bar fights, whatever it was he was doing. He said he completely had to turn his behavior and turn himself around, or he would come to notice. So really, it was the best thing that ever happened to him. It was a very healing experience.
Well, I wonder if we could bring in the brothers, Clarence and John Anglin.
Are they still are they still on the earth plane? No, they've passed. They passed.
And how did they manage to avoid and elude the authorities? Did they split up or did they stay together?
Did you split up or stay together? They stayed together pretty much. They stayed together. What is that?
That's a paper mache head that they used in order to put it in their bed so that the guards wouldn't think that they were gone.
Oh, isn't that clever? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
They also made a paper mache air vent too to get out. Were they surprised that they made it out, these brothers?
Very surprised. And it wasn't easy. The escape was not easy at all. It was very difficult.
What went wrong on the escape and what went right?
What went wrong on the escape? Well, just the strength that it was required to escape, right? It was exhausting. Luckily, they had plenty of time. And did you have someone meet you on the other side when you got there? No, no. And what did you do? How did you make your escape from there? How did you have like clean clothes and change of clothes? We didn't have any of those things. Okay. So what did you do? I feel like they flagged down a car, and what happened then? They stole the car. They flagged down a passing motorist and they stole the car.
They did. Things weren't reported as much back in the 60s. So it's taken a while to piece that together. But what did the brothers do and where did they move to eventually?
Did you go up to Canada? We all went to Canada. Okay. And then what did you do eventually? They moved across Canada. Um, and where did you go? Where did you guys go? Where I feel like they ended up close to Toronto. And what were you guys doing there? They were working as laborers, uh, construction. They were paid cash. And did you stay in Canada? They stayed in Canada.
Did either one of them ever get married?
Did either one of you ever get married? No.
What's that do to their soul path when they can break out of prison? Is it good that they broke out of prison or were they designed to be incarcerated and
What does it do to your soul path that you broke out of prison? Ooh. So with these brothers, though, they have to learn that they have to face imprisonment. Really it's about accepting responsibility, accepting the punishment. They didn't want to accept it, and accepting that they did wrongdoing. I don't feel that they were very good people at all. Um, I feel that they were terrible and they could actually be violent, the brothers. Um, but they refused to accept any response. They refused to take any responsibility for what they've done, how they affected other people. And so they'll
It,
have to do that again. That is a life lesson in itself. You have to accept responsibility. Okay, now you know what I'm going to ask, right? Okay, so let's talk about all these people with narcissistic personality disorder who have zero accountability and zero responsibility and zero empathy. What happens to them in this lifetime where they are, NPD and they're extreme and they don't, that's something they have to learn. They will keep going through their lifetimes until they get to a point of, they're saying acceptance, responsibility, but then you also have to offer yourself forgiveness. So only taking responsibility is one part of the equation. You have to then also offer yourself forgiveness as the whole part. And if you can't do that, you have to constantly revamp and retry and recreate and redesign different circumstances to come down here in order to take responsibility. I'm saying, but the escape, did that make you at some level, after you managed to successfully escape, you lived out your lifetimes in Canada, did you ever take responsibility for what you did eventually? And I feel that as they got older, they were very sick actually. They didn't have good endings. They were still labeled as like John Doe's. And what happened in the end? I mean, they were ill. They were still drinking. They were chronic alcoholics, and they did not live as long as the other guy. But what he's saying to me is, and I'm saying, but you're skirting around the question. So did you or did you not eventually take responsibility and accountability for your actions? No, because he says if we would have taken absolute responsibility for our actions, we would have turned ourselves in and served the time. Wow.
you could have got a movie deal for sure. Isn't something broken electrochemically in your brain already, or if you have those type of disorders? I mean, can it really be healed, or are those people a lost cause because those neural pathways are irrevocably broke?
For the narcissistic personality disorder,
Yes.
what are they? Are those pathways broken? They're severed. Yes. And I'm saying, but is it because they're not connected? Do they just completely disconnect from their emotions? For the most part, yeah. I mean, they still feel anger, they still feel hatred, they seek revenge. Um, and they have a large ego, he says, but for the most part, all of that self-love, forgiveness, um, self-blame, guilty, empathy, sadness, for wronging someone else, shame, they don't really connect with those feelings. No. That
They
those
have that on the
connections
other
are
side.
broken. Do they reconnect on the other side? Um, so those feelings, do they reconnect on the other side? I mean, they can, but it's not the same as being here on the earth plane, because on the earth plane, you maximize the ability to feel, right? You get one chance. When you're here, you can feel you know, the full measure of these emotions, he says, or, you know, through experience and trauma, you completely cut them. But even though when you go back up there, you know that they're available to the energy field, but you can't seem to really connect with them. You have to come back down and try to reconnect. So is that what a narcissist has to do? Is that part of their lesson, is that they now have gone through so much trauma and maybe multiple lifetimes that they keep disconnecting, disconnecting, disconnecting? Is it their job to come back down and try to make those reconnections, or are they actually born into those reconnections? And he says, no, they would have to design the life path to sever those connections at a very early age through traumatic experiences. But what is the goal? The goal is to find those reconnections. But I'm saying, okay, but most of the time, people with NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, they can't even, fault themselves. So how on earth would they possibly be able to reconnect? He's like, Liz, you're asking me, I don't know.
Are they pissed up there now, or are they in a better emotional state?
No, I feel there's a lot of anxiety. I
I
mean,
get that they're pissed, right? They're
they're
angry.
nervous.
Ah. What incarnation number is this for John and Clarence Anglin?
What incarnation was this for you? Oh, it's low. It's like in the hundreds.
Are either of them coming back anytime soon, or are they back now?
Are you back now? No, they don't like being here. And when I say that's human, cumulative. No, they don't like being here. Their mother was very cruel to them.
Well, I'm sorry about that. Guys, congratulations on the great escape. It was nice to hear your side of the story, and I appreciate each and every one of you out there and Psychic Medium Liz Cross for bringing forth this story on the escape from Alcatraz.
Oh my gosh, like that was totally sprung on me. I didn't know that we were doing that. You're full of surprises today, so that was amazing. So thank
See
you.
you all next time.
Don't forget, Mr. Reality does have a tip jar listed down below. Thank you.